Happy Mother's Day to you. Time to break out the pink bats for Mom and the Royals. Remember Jeff Francoeur going deep last year with his mom in the stands? It could happen again today. KC needs another bolt from Billy and have Irvin work his magic against the Yanks. It comes your way next. It's a gorgeous afternoon at the K, where it's the final game of this series between the New York Yankees and the Kansas City Royals. Hi, everybody. Steve Physiak, Rex Heldler with you, and happy Mother's Day to all the Royal moms out there. And we are hoping we can broadcast your way a Royals victory.
That's right, moms. Hey, and for your special day, Major League Baseball and the players will all be wearing their pink wristbands, pink shoes, bats. Even the baseballs used today will be laced in pink. It should be nice. All for breast cancer research.
All right, and Billy Butler is hoping he can give his mom a gift by hitting a home run in a victory.
Wouldn't be just his mom. How about the ball club? When Billy Butler goes, so do the Royals. You see the wins when he homers, and you see when he doesn't. It's very simple, but you know what? It's not all the pressure's on Billy, though. But lately, he's just not been able to square up the ball. Now, blame it on a cold start, weather-wise, timing, all the missed games, and I would say, yes, I would point to those. But however, Billy is the cog in the wheel. He's the straw that stirs the drink. He drives in the runs. He's their big bopper, and if they're going to continue to win and they get today's game, they've got to have him included.
The Royals need Irvin Santana against Hiroki Kuroda. The Yankee pitching has been outstanding, and the Royals are trying to avoid the sweep at Kauffman Stadium against those dreaded Yanks.
Mother's Day to all, as we will be seeing a lot of pink out here at the ballpark and ballparks all around the country. Joel Goldberg here in right field. You got to be wearing pink today. So got the wristband, and the players will be wearing these pink ribbons. I'm going to go with the pink tie and the pink shirt too. But as for the players, you will see all kinds of pink gear here. And this happens every single season, and it is baseball's way of helping raise awareness for breast cancer research. And it is Breast Cancer Awareness Day at all the ballparks in the major leagues. Pink bats, some guys will be wearing pink shoes. Mention the wristbands, necklaces, all of that and much more, even baseballs with pink stitching in them. And so it is a beautiful Mother's Day here, and those Royals looking to make their moms happy with a win in the series finale. The Magic Man, Irvin Santana, looking for career win number 100. I'm Joel Goldberg. Enjoy the game. Fizz and Hud have the call next.
Missouri Lottery. Play it forward with Missouri Lottery. And by Chevrolet, your Kansas City Chevy dealers, the official vehicle of the Kansas City Royals. And by AT&T, the wireless receiver only from AT&T Uverse. Visit att.com/free. Your TV rethink possible. There's a look at those pink bats we will be using on the field by both the New York Yankees and the Kansas City Royals. And a reminder, this game is brought to you in high definition by Time Warner Cable, the official TV, internet, and home phone provider of the Kansas City Royals. KC comes in a game and a half back, up first in the Central New York, within one game of the lead in the with the lead in the East. And here's Joe Girardi's starting lineup. He will lead things off with much the same Brett Gardner at number one, then Robinson Cano hitting .306. Vernon Wells hit the game-winning home run yesterday. Hafner, Suzuki had 3 hits in their first game. Jason Nix has been a major thorn in the side of Kansas City. Overbay, Nelson, and Stewart go 7, 8, and 9. And on the mound, a very important pitcher for Kansas City. He was the pitcher of the month of April, 3 wins, 2.36 earned run average.
Irvin, go ahead and get that 100th career victory today. Keep it in the yard. He's given up 4 home runs. Only 3 of those have been solo shots, so they haven't hurt him. He's been really good here at the K. Matter of fact, he's thrived. He's just allowed 2 earned runs in 23 innings while going 2-0 in 3 starts. Defending behind him, an excellent group of young men. If they can just figure it out and make the routine plays and communicate out there, they'll be much better. Salvador Perez, he's been fantastic. I tell you, his percentage of throwing runners out is on the upswing. He started the season, they were stealing off the pitcher. Now he's getting his groove with the timing with the pitchers, and he's thrown out over 36% of runners. He's really good.
There was a wonderful article on Salvi in the Kansas City Star today, written by Rustin Dodd, about Salvi and his mom, Yilda Diaz, where she used to pitch corn kernels to Salvi, and he would drive them all the way out of the backyard into the neighbor's yard.
What a great idea. You know, little corn kernels, flip them up there. It's really small. I mean, you got to really watch that thing and hit it, but you need some eyewear probably on the comebackers.
Happy Mother's Day to Yilda Diaz.
Yilda.
Brett Gardner to lead things off, a speed guy, 2 hits in this series, batting average at .259. He will be facing Irvin Santana, who looks to pick up career win number 100 in today's series finale. He's making his 7th start of the year. Gardner goes after the first pitch and sends it to left field. Gordon has it played perfectly, 1 out.
All right, Yankees are going to be seeing Irvin Santana with a low 90s fastball. He tries to get a nice little running sink to it. Got a nice little overhand breaking ball that works very effectively for Irvin for his strikeout pitch. And he's got a changeup that is able to keep Yankees honest, especially left-handed batters. It fades away from him.
Here is Robinson Cano, 2 hits in the series, 9 home runs to lead the club. Irvin last pitched on Tuesday at Camden Yards. It was his first on record in 10 days due to a May 2nd postponement versus Tampa Bay here at the K. He went 6 innings against Baltimore, received a no decision in a 4-3 Baltimore win. Cano bunts it foul. He saw Moustakas well back at third base, and Mike is going to stay back there and well off the line by a good 30 feet.
How about in the hole over there between the short and third baseman? So, you know, Cano every once in a while, he might take a little chance at that. And if Irvin, if he was successful, Irvin wouldn't mind.
And Moose had him played perfectly.
So Cano tried to move Moose out of his fielding position with that bunt. Moose didn't budge. Probably saying, go ahead and take the lousy bunt if you want it. Moose is able to keep that thing in his glove.
Rex, there's a reason these coaches come early. Eddie Rodriguez, he will look at spray charts and where guys hit the baseball, if they hit it on the ground, if they hit it in the air, and that's why he had adjusted Moustakas over in that hole. And interestingly enough, Eddie Rodriguez, the way he had him played was perfect. And here's a ground ball back up the middle by Vernon Wells, and he has his 2nd hit of the series, 2 for 10.
Irvin has had more success against right-handed batters, only giving up a .214 average with 3 homers. Lefties are hitting .264 with 1 home. Overall, .242 average against Irvin. It's not too bad.
Well, the Orioles got to him early in that first inning. The O's struck for 3 runs and 4 hits in the first, snapping Santana's 13-inning scoreless stretch. But after that, he really bared down and pitched well, retiring 12 in a row and holding the Orioles scoreless through his 6th and final frame. But he did need to throw a lot of pitches, and it was a rainy evening in Baltimore. Royals with 3 defenders in the right side, and Elliott Johnson playing that rover position in shallow right. 2 balls and no strikes. Hafner will walk a lot. He has walked 16 times this year.
Got the heavy shift on the right side. Elliott Johnson playing a shallow right. It's important. Hosmer, Escobar know where Johnson is. Know where each other is, have an awareness, and communicate. One thing they haven't been able to do. Yesterday, Shields gave up a little check swing, and it went by him, and Johnson was so far deep that he couldn't come in and make the play, and Hosmer let Shields go ahead and field it. Didn't hurt him, but there was some miscommunication there.
Hafner gets the green light on 3-0 and busts it to center, but Dyson is there near the track, and the Yankees are done in the first inning. No runs, 1. Raising awareness and money for breast cancer research. A lot of young men in that Royals dugout thinking about mom and their wives back home with the children. Here's Gerard Dyson. He is in the leadoff role today in place of Alcides Escobar, who struggled the last couple of games in that capacity after the Royals moved Alex Gordon from first to third. So Dyson will lead things off. Gordon remains in that 3 spot with Billy Butler cleaning things up. Hosmer, Perez have picked things up along with Mike Moustakas recently. And Jeff Francoeur, we told you he hit a home run on Mother's Day in Chicago last year. Elliott Johnson, meantime, will bat 9th. And on the hill, 38-year-old veteran Hiroki Kuroda.
Kuroda's looking to help New York win a season-high 5th straight game. He's lasted 7 innings over his last 2 starts. He's been really good. And he's a master of deception. He's got a little delay in his delivery. He's going to come at the Royals with an 88 to 93 mile an hour sinking fastball. He's got a slider, a forkball, that's his out pitch, and a shuto pitch, which in Japanese means a hard running fastball in on the hands of righties. He's a strike thrower pretty much.
It is his 6th year in the major leagues after 11 in Japan. He, like most of the Japanese pitchers, has that little hesitation before he brings it home. And he has had a strong start this year in his 7 games with a 2.3 earned run average. We expect a low-scoring game, but you never know. And here is Dyson down the line, and that looks like at least 2. Ichiro has an excellent arm, and Eddie Rodriguez will say, whoa, slow things down. He does with a leadoff double.
All right, that's more like it for Dyson. Get in there and cause some action, get on base, and stir things up. I believe he could have had 3, but that's okay. It's early in the game. There's no need running into an out at first base. And if Eddie Rodriguez says don't go, you better not, or you better make it. Dyson had a good look, but when that ball's behind him, you see he hit second. He looked up and saw Eddie with the stop sign on. Steady as she goes. Let's see what Escobar can do his job, and the situation calls for him to bunt him to third base or push the ball to the right side.
Because right now, the Royals are in a situation they want to do the fundamentals well. Execution, the little mistakes have hurt them in this week. And there's the bunt. Kuroda looks at third, goes to first, so Escobar didn't place it where he wanted to, but the result is just as good as Dyson takes third on the sacrifice.
The sacrifice is all about moving the runner. If you're going to bunt for a base hit, maybe not good location, but he did the job. All right, defending behind Kuroda are the Yankees, and I'm going to highlight Jason Nix. Nix has done a fabulous job at shortstop. Not only with the glove, he makes all the routine plays, but he's been a hitting star as well.
Infield in for Gordon. Alex leads the team in RBIs with 27, and if at first you don't succeed, you may not get to Kuroda. He has allowed at least one run in the first inning in 3 of his 7 starts this season.
Gordon, 484, hitter with a runner in scoring position. Nails.
Now he's behind 0-2. He went 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts in last night's loss. I told you he usually will give up runs early. Gave up a run against Boston in the first, 3 in the first against Cleveland, 2 in the first against Toronto. Dyson at third. Foul back. Kuroda does have 33 strikeouts in 43 innings this year.
Kuroda's out pitch is his forkball, split finger. I have forkball, and there's a difference. Forkball tumbles. You see, hitters see the rotation coming out of his hand and on the way to the plate. Split fingers, they design that as you move your fingers a little bit closer than a forkball, and it has more of a fastball look to it.
Rex, last night the Royals made an error that resulted in a run. James Shields said he made a mistake on a 1-2 pitch to the number 9 hitter, hit him. This is one of those situations, runner on third, less than 2 out, where it's almost imperative, the way the Royals have struggled offensively, to somehow get Dyson home.
Yeah, I agree.
And it looks like he will. With a long fly ball to right center field, Gardner will make the catch. Dyson comes trotting home. Job well done for Alex Gordon, making Mom proud in Lincoln, Nebraska. Hiroki Kuroda will face Billy Butler, who has been slumping of late. Billy's told Nate Bukaty before the ball game, this is a slump. You just try and grind your way through, and that's what he's trying to do. And Rex, you were talking about Eric Hosmer's front foot, and Billy was talking about the timing mechanics of that.
You know, you have to face the pitcher, get your timing down, see what he has. You know, maybe it's 1 pitch, 2 pitches, maybe it's 1 at bat, 2 at bats, but you got to use that front foot to slow your momentum down as a hitter.
Well, he hit one 414 feet yesterday off Andy Pettit for a home run. He pops this one up right side, a long run for Suzuki, and he will not get there. So Billy with another chance and a 1-2 count.
Ichiro started out thinking, you know what, I think I got a chance for this. Then he had to kind of put a little bit of extra juice on his run and slid in there and couldn't make the play, but a good effort. The front foot for a hitter is important, and as so with the pitcher. The pitcher wants to get out over his front foot and pitch downhill.
Billy to second base. Cano is there, tosses him out, but the Royals do get a run. Dyson doubles, Escobar sacrifices, and Gordon knocks him home with a fly ball. 1-0 KC. West 529 Education Savings Program. Members receive a gray batting practice jersey, Royals hat, blue wristbands, ticket vouchers, priority access for the Sunday Fun Run, and much more. Membership is just $25. Be a part of the fun all year long by joining at royals.com/Blue Crew. You're reserving Santana, and that ball will roll fair, and they just do get Ichiro Suzuki as Santana took a chance on the speedy Ichiro.
You have to. A lot of guys are going to wait and let that ball roll foul, and Irvin said, are you kidding me? I'm going to conserve my pitch count. I'm going to pick it up and throw him out. Short, quick throwing motion. Perfect play right there. Now, if he lets it roll and it doesn't go foul, he's in more trouble. But I like his decision there. Saved his pitch count and got him out.
Just barely. By an eyelash.
Beautiful play by Irvin. Helping himself.
Great camera work as well by our guys. And in the tape room with that super slow-mo. And here is Jason Nix, who has been incredible in this series with 4 hits, 3 walks, a couple of doubles. The 30-year-old veteran out of Dallas, Texas, and he skies one high in the air, deep to left field. Gordon goes back, and he will pull it down just in front of the fence. I was just about ready to say Jason Nix only has 2 hits off of Irvin Santana in his career, and both were home runs, and that was almost out of the yard.
Gordon had to battle that sun a little bit, staying with it. Very steady. You see how when he runs, his head's not moving. When the head don't move, neither do the eyes. Sometimes when you're running back on a ball and your head's bobbing like that, the ball is too.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Growing up, going after a foul ball or fly ball in the gap and going, I can't see the baseball. My eyes are jumping around.
That's right. But really, it's your head.
Yeah, you're right. And here's Lyle Overbay. He was the hero in Friday's 11-6 Yankee win. 4 hits, 5 RBIs. Royals infield plays him to pull rather dramatically, with Escobar, the shortstop, almost directly behind second base. Told you about Santana getting roughed up in the first inning against Baltimore, but he's been consistently solid as the game progresses. Each time he's gone to the hill. He allowed 3 runs in the first on Tuesday and has permitted 7 runs, 6 earned in the opening frame over his last 5 starts. The Bonets batting .481, but in the remaining 32 innings in those starts, he has yielded just 1 run for a 0.28 earned run average. Keep it up, Urban. Over Bay went, and Santana gets his first strikeout of the afternoon.
Now you see it, now you don't. He's magic.
Que vienen a vernos. Happy Mother's Day to my mom Karen and my mother-in-law Kathy. I love you.
Wife Jenny.
Everyone back home in Miami, Florida, to say hello and happy Mother's Day.
Feliz Día de las Madres para todas las madres que vienen a vernos. Happy Mother's Day to my mom Karen and my mother-in-law Kathy. I love you.
Happy Mother's Day, especially to my mom. I love you very much.
Happy Mother's Day to Betty, Stacy, Annie, Jennifer, our moms and wives. And here is Eric Hosmer. Eric's mom, Alina, was the teaching assistant at his high school. And his dad was a fireman, and boy, they dedicated so much time to getting Eric involved in youth programs as he sends a ground ball to third, and Chris Nelson will throw him out. But the sacrifices moms make, Rex, when you're a young athlete and your mom is driving you all over the Midwest here in Kansas City or the West Coast where you grew up.
Yeah, they're the greatest people in the world. Every guy will tell you that. That's why they have a special day for her. My mom negotiated my first big league contract with the New York Yankees. I mean, it wasn't a big league contract, but it was a signing bonus. I love her.
First round pick of the New York Yankees, Rex Hudler, drafted in front of Cal Ripken Jr.
That's my only claim to fame.
That worked out well. You got 10 years in the bigs.
Well, you know what? It was nowhere near Junior's career, though.
Yeah, but he had to get his games in consecutive. You were able to take days off and have vacation days.
Yeah, I love that article in the Star today with Salvi and Gilda, his lovely mother.
That is up the middle, and Kuroda is able to take care of Salvador Perez for the second out.
Kuroda's a good athlete. Just showed you right there.
Just a reminder as you enjoy a cold one this afternoon, look forward to Miller time later in this afternoon's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Here is Mike Moustakis. His mom Connie was a really good softball player in Southern California. Dad was a football player, so they produced a pretty good athlete. And Mike, up until his junior year, was a fine quarterback and an outstanding football community at San Fernando Valley, and then became an All-American shortstop. Swing and a miss, 0-2. And Mike goes down swinging. The Royals done in the second inning, but they do have the lead 1-0 on Alex Gordon's first inning sacrifice fly. And Royals baseball brought to you by Panera Bread. Try pasta the Panera way. Live consciously, eat deliciously. And by Ford. See the new F-150 at your Midwest Ford dealer today. Steve Biziak, Rex Hudler. We are joined by Mary's son, Jeff Montgomery, in the booth. And I love your pink tie.
Well, thank you.
Fantastic. And wanted to ask you about Urban Santana. What you have seen differently from years past to this season?
Well, it seems to me as he's got the ability to now go out and really focus and concentrate on those first pitches of the bats. Before, I think he got himself in trouble a lot of times by get-me-over pitches. Now he's got a little more focus on quality pitches, executing quality pitches, first and second pitches in the at-bats.
Yeah, he only has 6 walks this year against 35 strikeouts, and that is tremendous. Just 1 over his last 3 starts, covering 20 innings. He has a 2-1 count on Chris Nelson, who has 3 hits and 9 at-bats in this series, and that one's fouled back. So let's see if we get that good slider, because as Rex and I were talking about during spring training, the coaches were saying the guy that's wowing us is Santana. His slider looks as sharp as it was during his 17-win season.
Well, I think a lot of his issues with the slider was he was using that kind of the get-me-over slider, not the real tight finish, the one that finishes off the plate. He's kind of rolling that slider up there, first pitch, second pitch in the at-bats. And as we know, he led the American League in home runs allowed last year. A lot of that was because of those get-me-over pitches he's throwing early in counts.
Rex, what's it like facing a slider from a right-handed pitcher?
Well, one that goes down is a lot harder to hit up, match up. The ones that are flatter stay in the plane longer. I can make some better contact with it. And that's what Monty was saying, the get-me-over slider. Sometimes get-me-over sliders end up being hit 400 feet. So when he's got that downward angle to that tilt, you can't hit that. Especially with 2 strikes, you think you can, but it's gone.
He goes with the I'm going to strike you out slider.
That one had to finish. When a pitcher's able to throw that pitch and it starts on the plate and finishes off the plate like that pitch we saw from Ervin Santana, it really is almost unfair, Rex, because it looks like a fastball, then it finishes down and away. You can't touch that one.
Yeah, and you know, Monty, I can't tell a difference in the seams of the baseball from that angle. Of course, you know, we have the super slow motion because the balls are laced in pink today compared to the traditional red. Well, so it doesn't look like there's any difference.
Well, I don't think there is. You see the balls actually, I'm holding a ball that's rubbed up. You have one that's not rubbed up. Other than a lot of pink writing on the balls we're not used to seeing.
Chris Stewart gets a base hit to left field. And Rex, they talk about when you throw the slider, you see a little red dot. Did you see a red dot on the sliders?
Sometimes, but Fizz, look, I hardly even saw the ball when I played. It was so small. Okay, you can see the difference. This one here is rubbed up. It's got a little Delaware mud on it. Okay, that's for extra grip. This one here is glossy, and it's what you call a big league pearl.
One on, one out. Top of the 3rd inning. Royals leading 1-0 on a Dyson double, a ground out, and then Gordon sacrifice fly. Was a Escobar sacrifice who did get Dyson to 3rd. And now Brett Gardner flied out to left field his first time up. Santana's pitch efficiency has been excellent. Only 27 pitches thrown and 2 1/3.
Yeah, you know, Fizz, there are times when hitters see the dot on the slider. It just depends on how the pitcher grips the ball and how it comes in.
Rex, does it also depend on if the batter is hot or not? Because sometimes the ball looks big, you tell me, when you're on a hot streak.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. It depends on how well you're going. Some guys are really locked in. You try to pick up that release point. I mean, ask Monty if he ever saw the seams on the ball coming back at his head.
Well, you know, a lot of times hitters that say when they're really on a hot streak, they say, I'm seeing the ball really well. And I don't know that means they can see the laces on a baseball, but at least they're seeing the ball out of the pitcher's hand well. And I think as a pitcher, you know, you're not really trying to disguise that, but your natural deception is obviously a key. Talking about the spin on the slider, I think one thing that's I think critical for a pitcher when you do release that pitch, it doesn't just spin, it has to have finish. And a lot of times the bad slider, the one that kind of hangs in there, they say it rotates like a cement mixer. It just kind of turns and turns and turns. It doesn't break, and that's one you want to stay away from.
And what's the key to getting that great finish?
We're going to take a look at Ervin Santana's slider here. You got the grip where you got that. He's got that middle finger on that seam or on that lace, and when he finishes and he releases, it's almost like opening up a doorknob at the end. You kind of put that late twist on the baseball, and it causes it to just almost disappear from the right-handed batter.
Is this an advantage? Ervin's 6'2", but has very long fingers, and he really believes that the ball will stay on the tips of his fingers maybe and get an extra rotation towards home plate.
Well, he uses his size to his advantage, not just his height, because he's able to get that downhill, that release, but he's also able to use the length of his hands to his advantage, because the farther out on your fingertips you can grip the baseball, the more life and the more whip you get on it.
Line drive to Elliott Johnson. Diving back is Chris Stewart, but the Royals get the second out. I remember, Monty, Sports Illustrated did an article with Pedro Martinez, who's 5'11", but they said he had the hands of a man 6'3", and also double jointed fingers at the end, where he would whip the baseball and get the extra spin and also get extra action on his changeup.
Right, creating that spin, and it's almost like a slingshot where you're able to get that extra life. You know, if you have flexible hands, flexible body, and those arms, those long arms, those can be a big advantage too.
Here is Robinson Cano, lined out to third his first time up, when Eddie Rodriguez, the Royals defensive coach and third base coach, moved Mike Moustakas into a perfect territory. There is a shot to right, and Robinson Cano says so long to Ervin Santana. New York in front 2-1.
Just a second home run given up to a left-handed batter by Irvin.
That almost looked like the get-me-over slider.
Yeah, that could have actually been a changeup. Looking at the velocity and didn't have a lot of downward movement on it. That could have been a changeup. A lot of times a righty's going to throw a changeup to a left-handed batter instead of the slider.
Monty, when a pitcher's gripping the ball, does it matter where he holds it as it compared to the label, like Major League Baseball? Do you hold it the same way, or since the ball has horseshoes all over it, does it matter where you hold it?
It really doesn't matter,
no.
Rex.
Vernon Wells deep to left. Oh, man. And all of a sudden, Santana giving up a lot of power to New York, and the Yankees go in front 3-1. Well, that is their key. Their great pitching and their power.
And that pitch looked like that cement mixer slider that one had just kind of hung out to the middle part of the plate, and Vernon Wells obviously did not miss that one.
Hitters will let you know. If that ball's out over that middle, they're not going to miss it too often. Especially on a day like today. Wind is blowing not quite as hard from left to right.
Well, here is our Toyota League leaders on most home runs by players on new teams. Justin Upton, moving from Arizona to Atlanta, has 12. But here's Vernon Wells from the Angels, where he didn't play. He has 9 with the New York Yankees in the first 6 weeks of the season, and 2 in this series. Yesterday's erased a 1-run Royal lead and allowed the Yankees to win 3-2. Line drive, foul ball. And you talk about capitalizing on mistakes. I thought it was very interesting where James Shields says the home run I gave up, that wasn't a mistake. The mistake was hitting the number 9 hitter on a 1-2 pitch.
Yeah, and if you hit a guy on a 1-2 pitch, you really feel like you've given something back, because you've worked yourself into a count where you're going to be able to put him away, especially at the bottom part of the order, and especially on a changeup. If you do it on a fastball, sometimes you understand a little bit more because it gets away from you, but you don't execute that finish on that changeup and it hits a guy and it ends up hurting you.
Hey, Monty, finish answering my question. When you look at the ball before you grip it, do you look for the label, or is there a certain spot that you go on? Does it matter?
I always would look for the label. I'd always get it exactly in the same place. So I'd always have that label facing me when I was taking my grip, whether it was a fastball, curveball, changeup, or slider. The actual baseball does not matter whether you're gripping it on the label side or on the blank side.
Hafner with a bolt that bangs against the wall, and Santana getting the ball up in this 3rd inning has allowed a line single to Chris Stewart, a line out to Gardner, a home run to Cano, a home run to Wells, and now a double to Hafner, the last 5 batters that he's faced. Now comes Dave Island for a visit.
He's having some location issues. And there, again, was missed right in the middle of the plate.
Yeah, hitters love to see that, as you know, Rex. And pitchers, you just have to find a way to kind of get back in that groove. Ervin Santana struggled a lot early in games this year, and he comes out in the 1st inning. It looked like he was really locked in and was expecting him to maybe get through this part of the game. He's, once he gets through this 1st inning, he's been so much better. But today here, 3rd inning's not been very kind.
Okay, mechanically, could he be falling off? I mean, why is he missing in the middle?
Usually the most common mistake is a pitcher will make, he will have his left shoulder fly open too early, which allows the ball to come back to the middle of the plate.
Same way as a hitter.
Yep.
It's interesting how the two are almost exactly alike, even though they look totally different. It's all about balance and mechanics and who's going to make the mistake. That's not a mistake. That's a very nice breaking ball there. He'd like to stay there if he can, but you know, that's what they look for. Hitters look for mistakes. When a pitcher's off balance, he makes mistakes, and it's hit.
And when Dave Island went out to talk to Irvin Santana, I would guess he probably said, hey, stay back a little bit, try not to rush. Because when you rush, that's when bad things happen. That's when that shoulder flies open. That's when an arm gets down on the side, the ball flattens out, and it stays in the middle of the plate.
He has had a lot of success against Santana in his career, but they battled a lot when Santana was with the Angels and Ichiro with the Mariners.
And it's the same with a hitter, Monty. If the hitters try to be too fast, he comes off and pulls his shoulder off.
We take a look at the pitch that Robinson Cano hits, and you see his shoulder. Sometimes his lead shoulder flies open. So you see his letters way too early, and it allows sometimes that arm to maybe drop down, and it gets on the side and allows that ball just to hang out there.
And the hitter sees it longer.
Right, because what happens is you essentially open up too early, and it exposes the baseball to the hitter, and that arm slot is picked up much earlier than a pitcher who has it behind him, and it creates that level of deception.
The count 1-2 on Ichiro Suzuki. And again, he will knock it out of play. And I remember when he was a young prospect and the top prospect in the Angels system, he had a little bit of a hedger that allowed that front shoulder to open. And Zeke Zimmerman, Mike Butcher, who's the pitching coach now for the Angels, and Howie Gershberg worked with him in the minors to try and eliminate that hedger.
Yeah, you want to be smooth. You want to be straight onto the plate. That's where you really want to be ideally. So take a look at how he's got his head nice and smooth. He's just really trying to get everything going toward home plate. Once you get going toward the baseline, things go wrong.
Santana picks it off underhands to Hosmer, but 3 runs score for New York in the third, and all 3 with 2 outs. A home run by Cano, a home run by Wells. She, in December of 2011, was diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer. With the support of her husband Mike and their 2 children, Connie began treatment, and the family became active in the Susan G. Komen, Kansas City. They started a race for the cure team and raised nearly $5,000. Connie's last chemotherapy treatment was just 2 months ago, and she is thrilled to be able to be sitting in Buck's seat today. Way to go, Connie. Here is Jeff Francoeur. And Jeff wearing the pink sleeves, the pink shoes. He's all dressed out for his mom, his wife, his mother-in-law. And he got it going in Chicago last year on Mother's Day when he banged one out deep into the left field seats. Would love to see him do that this afternoon. Fouled back. Pops it up to the right side. And taking care of it is Lyle Overbay for out number 1. Elliott Johnson seeing more and more playing time. For a while they had a little rotation going between Johnson and Chris Getz, with Miguel Tejada sprinkled in occasionally. Fouled off. And Rex, can that be difficult when a middle infielder is rotated a lot?
Well, sure. Continuity is great. Players thrive off it. Human beings thrive off of that. Being consistent. And especially when you're working with a double play partner out the middle. Ned's been rotating guys in and out of there, and sometimes that's one of the reasons why we're seeing a lack of continuity. And it just takes time playing with the same guy for a while, and you get to know each other pretty well. So it's a little bit better. Same way with the batting order. Continuity in the batting order is something a manager strives for. It doesn't always happen at the right time. Last year, Ned juggled that lineup every day for the first 2 months of the season until he found some continuity.
Cano backhands and flips, and he makes it look so easy.
See, we talk about the slider of Irvin Santana here. Kuroda's got an excellent forkball. We're going to take a look at going back to his grip. See, he's got that split grip on that forkball. He throws that thing, and he's able to get it to really go down and away to the left-handed batters, almost like a screwball.
Right. It's a beauty. But hitters can see a forkball rotation over the split fingers. Splitty's got a little bit different grip. You're a little bit closer. I was explaining that. And playing in Japan, like I was privileged to do for 9 months, every pitcher in Japan has a forkball. And I got to see those regularly every day.
Oh, he just almost was able to get it over the head of Kuroda. Had he done so, I believe Dyson would have gotten an infield hit. Instead, Kuroda flags it down and throws him out.
Thursday, Brian Pena says to his wife and mother, going deep. Tigers on top of the Indians right now, 3-2. It's Pena's second of the year as he sprints around the bases. And we see all of the pink in ballparks across the country. Tony Pena Jr., or Tony Pena Sr., I should say, he likes what he sees from Salvador Perez. Talked with the former catcher and former Royals manager, and he said what impresses him the most about Salvi is just that he can do what he does with that kind of height, to have that quickness, that release, to go with the good arms and the great hands and be that flexible for that height really has impressed him. He said there are guys that have the quick release like Salvi, but he has the accuracy with it to go too, and that makes him good. Hey, you know who else, gentlemen, that loves Salvi? The 4 umpires. I was talking to them before the game. They said he just gives us a great look behind the plate, allows us to do our job, and very easy to work with too. They love the manners and respect that the young 23-year-old has.
Ground ball third, Moustakas knows Nix runs pretty well. High throw! And that's the 7th error for Moustakas this year.
All right, little two hopper. Okay, he waits for the big hop, does what he normally does. He didn't tap his glove though.
I noticed that last night on the error he made. He didn't tap his glove the way that you
usually he taps that glove, but he didn't do it there, and maybe his timing was off a little bit. I always talk about that, how you hit players tap their glove to get their feet there, and that lines them up, and it's all for timing. Maybe that's an issue. I don't know.
Well, I noticed his left shoulder flew open on that, which has created that where he gets under the ball and throws it uphill instead of downhill.
Right, and Moose knows what he's doing. He just might be in a little fielding slump, and it's hurting.
Overbay to left field. Gordon will get there, tagging his Nix, but does not go, respecting the arm of Alex. One big out, and the Royals would love to get out of this jam because they paid for every single mistake the first 2 games of this series.
It's just not good to see you beat yourself. Although those 2 home runs weren't exactly the fault of anyone except for a pitch that was left out over the plate. Credit the hitter to hit it out.
They have played 2 playoff teams this week. Baltimore won 93 games, made it to the playoffs last year. The Yankees won 95, won the East, and they've been to the playoffs 17 times in the last 18 seasons. And the Royals are learning how to win. The Yankees know how to win. And that's why you cannot make mistakes against really good ball clubs. Good pitch to Chris Nelson.
All right, let's check out Moose's play last night. He had the ball in plenty of time. He spun around. Okay, look at him. He spins around, and he still didn't tap his glove. Okay, he just pulled it out and he got his feet there. But again, his shoulder flew open a little bit, and he stayed under the ball. Moose plays a good third base. He knows what to do. He knows to stay on top of the ball. Sometimes it doesn't work out.
Well, he's got such a great arm. He knows that he has the ability to maybe get himself set and make that good hard throw. And we've seen that so many times, but unfortunately he's almost in that little rut where he's just pushing the ball, throwing the ball uphill, getting under it.
Now, George Brett's in there entertaining the multitude like he always does. You know, tremendous, great Hall of Fame third baseman. And, you know, even George made mistakes at times on his throws because that's a long throw across the diamond. That's why you have to have everything right, just like a pitcher in his mechanics. You got to tap, you got to find the seams, get your fingers on those 4 seams, and that keeps the ball straighter when you stay on top, because that's a long throw from the left side of the diamond.
Early in his career, he had 30 errors in one season. George, much like Moose, was a middle infielder growing up, moved to third base. How to play right side. Santana trying to finish him off. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Nelson had a key hit on Friday and drove in 2 runs. Former first-round pick out of Decatur, Georgia, by the Colorado Rockies. Center field. Dyson with the dive and catch. They've got a chance for 2, and they got it done. Nice play by Dice.
Tremendous jump on contact. That's a big pick-me-up there for Irvin, and way to pick Moose up.
summer, the new Bobble Dog Bundle ticket package is the best way to get your seat to the ketchup, mustard, and relish bobblehead games, all at a discount. The package starts at just $33, so get your bundle today at Royals.com/hotdogderby or call 1-800-6-ROYALS. Like that music. Gerard Dyson, what a catch at center field. Help out Mike Moustakas, still smiling about it. Now let's see if the Royals can get some offense going against Mr. Kuroda.
Gerard Dyson playing like a man on a mission for more playing time.
Exactly. A double. Went to third on Escobar's sacrifice. Scored on Gordon's sacrifice fly. 1 ball, 1 strike. Escobar is a guy who's trying to find a good rhythm again. Just 3 hits in his last 26 at bats.
Kuroda has that little delay, a little pause in his delivery, like a lot of the guys from the Far East. They like to use that as deception. They're not overpowering in the Japanese league. That's the best league in the Far East. They're not overpowering, so they got to use deception, change of speeds and location, just like here, but a lot more deception.
Gardner comes on quickly to make the catch, and that's 1 out to open the bottom half of the 4th inning. But this Yankee staff certainly has boasted 3 aces when you talk about CC Sabathia, Andy Pettit, and Hiroki Kuroda, the job that they have done. Now, Phil Hughes and Nova, when he's been healthy, have been 2 quality pitchers, but that trio has been so outstanding. And a big reason why they're in first place by a game over Baltimore and Boston in the East.
We actually talk about that little movement he's got with his left leg when he picks up his. I remember when Nomo came to the United States and started pitching, he had such an unorthodox delivery, and a lot of these Japanese pitchers, I was always curious on how they would be able to hold runners on at first base and not allow them to be able to steal bases very easily with that hitch or that pause that they have. So that would be one thing I'd be concerned about as a pitcher, but these guys seem to have a way to control the running game.
Yeah, once they get in the stretches, it's a little bit different in their technicians. I mean, they are so polished in their fundamentals over there. It's amazing.
Don't they start like when they're like in junior high and high school, all these big long camps, and they go to work and they really almost never stop working.
Gordon to short, 2 outs. Let's take a look at our Sprint Unlimited answers. How many RBIs will Billy Butler have in his career? 900 to 1,000, 1,000 to 1,100. How about over 1,200? Text 432-432 and enter A, B, C, or D. The Unlimited Answer Sweepstakes presented by Sprint. Vote in today's Unlimited Answers poll and enter for your chance to win 2 Crown Club tickets to a future Royals game courtesy of Sprint. Billy in the hole, but Nelson cuts it off, and it is a quick and easy inning for Hiroki Kuroda. Brought to you by Thoroughbred Ford. For the best deals on new Ford cars and trucks, visit thoroughbredford.com today. Steve Physiak, Rex Hudler, Jeff Montgomery, and Joel Goldberg at Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City. Yankees lead at 3-1. Trying for the sweep, and Santana will try and keep him quiet. Let his offense try and stir things up in the 5th. Ball 1 to Chris Stewart, who started the trouble in the 3rd with a 1-out single after Gardner lined out. Cano went deep, Wells went deep, and that was it. 3-1.
You know, that game, first game of the series, I had a little bit of a chance to share and talk with bench coach Tony Pena. And the reason that we talked to Tony is because he's a good character of the game, and he's had 4 years of managing here in Kansas City, but he was a great catcher. And it's good to ask a former great catcher who won 4 Gold Glove Award winners, had an 18-year career as a catcher, about Salvador Perez, like Joel did. And the one thing he told me a lot of the good things that Joel mentioned, but the one thing he said he had a concern with Salvi was he's so big, he's got to be careful with collisions at the plate. Got to be careful where he puts his left leg, because if he gets all that weight on that left leg and the hitter takes it out, could be problems. So he said he's a little bit worried about him. But other than that, Salvi's a technical machine. He works great back there.
And that left knee is the one he injured last spring training. A bunt try by Brett Gardner goes foul. But because he is so big, I mean, there have been big catchers like Carlton Fisk and Lance Parrish and Sandy Alomar. But Joel was talking about how the umpires love working behind him, and a lot of it has to do with his size, where umpires will use the knees as sometimes their vision at home plate, and if it's inside the knees, they will call a strike.
And it makes you feel comfortable as a pitcher as well, because a lot of times you're looking at the shin guards really as kind of being your outside and inside edge. It's where you want to keep the baseball. And if you got a guy that's got that large target like a Salvador Perez. I remember another catcher we had here, Sal Fasano. He was a big guy, caught some with the Yankees as well. It just gives you that, I guess, that confidence to know that you got a pretty big area back there to execute your pitch with. So confidence not only for the pitcher, but also, like you said, the umpires see that. That gives them maybe a bigger plate to get a strike for a pitcher.
And Joel was visiting with the umpires about that.
Well, you know, what they really love is that he just gives them such a good look and target at it that it makes their job easier, and that's all they're asking for. They, by the way, also say George Kataris is really good at that he's easy to work with. But they were stunned when I told them Salvi's only 23 years old. They thought he had to be older just based on his maturity.
And that's one of the thoughts that Rustin Dodd had in his terrific article in the Kansas City Star about Salvador. Almost a sage at a young age, understanding pitching situations. And Jason Kendall was saying the same thing. He goes, he is a sponge. And we talk every single day during these home games where Jason Kendall, who everybody believes is one of the smartest catchers in the game when he was healthy, obviously, but he said it takes such a long time and a great deal of experience to understand the way a pitcher is working, how a hitter's feet are placed. And he said he and Salvador will have that conversation constantly.
Yeah, it's great when young players are able to do that. Salvador Perez is a young player, obviously, in age, but you think about all the baseball he played growing up. So he's not young as far as catching baseball, but certainly still a sponge. And that's great when young players take advantage of the resources around, like a Jason Kendall.
And we saw James Shields in the dugout yesterday with him, working a couple of different squat positions, maybe holding on his glove to see where he likes to receive the ball, little things like that. And Salvador's just sitting there soaking it all up.
Meantime, a great at bat by Brett Gardner against Irvin Santana. Just barely misses high at 93 miles an hour. The 9th pitch in this at bat coming. And then he lines it to left field. Gordon's going to have to play that off the wall. Gardner has a 2-base hit. So how will Irvin Santana deal with Robinson Cano with the Royals currently down by 2 runs? He could make sure he doesn't give him anything too good to hit, set up a double play for a right-handed batter like Vernon Wells. We shall see. Moustakas knocks it down, throws him out. 2 gone. That time it looked like Moose kind of did tap it into his glove.
Sure, the infielders look for rhythm just like guys do at the plate and guys do on the mound. You got to have that routine and get that rhythm, and just hopeful that Mike Moustakas keep this thing going and get things squared away for him.
Wells single up the middle his first time up, homered in his last at bat. Strike 1.
Okay, let's take you back and show you from our center field camera Salvador Perez setting up and the good view the umpire has.
He's got that nice white spread.
Yeah, he's able to take that there and stay in the frame.
Wells has raised his batting average to .292. He only hit .230 last year. And he was really sometimes the 4th outfielder for the Angels. Another one that misses low, 2-1. Royals will head out on a long road trip to face the Angels, the A's, and the Astros. It'll be the A series. Down the line and past Moustakas. It's 4-1 New York.
Vernon Wells is seeing the ball. He's tearing it up. 3rd hit on the afternoon. Single, home run, and another single.
I was a little surprised to see him go after Wells the way he did. I know Hafner's a left-hander on deck, but he's just been seemingly a royal killer during this series.
He has only 4 hits in the series, but 3 of them have been incredibly productive. Now Hafner knocks it foul. Yankees with 4 runs on 7 hits. The Royals with 1 run on 1 hit.
Irvin's got to be able to keep this game close.
Runner goes, pitch taken, throw by Salvador. It skips into center field, going to third. Wells. An error also will be charged to Perez. So the Royals now with 27 errors this year. Kansas City has made 10 more errors than the New York Yankees.
It was just a really tough pitch for Salvador Perez to be able to handle. Had to go all the way across his body. Really not a lot of chance to get Vernon Wells.
Yep, and Escobar did all he could and tried to keep it in front of him. He can't control that hop.
It continues to be a remarkable story what New York has done, losing Rodriguez, Jeter, Teixeira, Granderson, Pineda, Cervelli, Nova. On the disabled list, Euclid isn't playing because of injuries, and they just plug in people who contribute incredibly. Wells now with 9 home runs, Hafner with 6, Overbay with 6. And these were guys that teams did not want before spring training. The Yankees said, we'll take them. And it was almost like Ellis Island, will take your tired, your poor, and they were extremely productive.
And their catcher, Francisco Cervelli, was another guy that was hurt. I don't hear his name mentioned a lot in that group of future Hall of Famers that you mentioned, but he was a real key guy for them as well.
Chris Stewart sharing that catching role with him. Joe Girardi said it has been an absolute joy to manage this team. But he said there are expectations when you walk into the Yankee clubhouse, and that is what Kansas City's trying to get back to. There were expectations in Kansas City in the late 70s and the 80s and early 90s. But you have to break through. Baltimore was able to break through last year. Tampa Bay was able to break through.
Steve, that was one of the things that I noticed in the transition of my 12 seasons here in Kansas City. My arrival in the late 80s in 1988, there was an expectation. There was a level of play that was expected, and really all the way through about the strike of 94, 95. And after that, when the team went young players don't have that same level, and that's where this Royals team is now trying to get to today, that many years later.
That's why I think, and we have seen it incredibly so with the veterans like Shields, Tejada, Taurus. Johnson will throw out Hafner, but a run scores on a couple of hits for New York. They open up a 4-1 lead over KC. By Hobby Lobby on Saturday, May 25th versus the Angels. The event will feature speeches by current Royals players and slugger Josh Hamilton, as well as a performance by top Christian rock and worship group Crowder. Game time is at 1:10 with festivities occurring after the conclusion of the game. Go to Royals.com/faith or call 1-800-6-ROYALS for tickets. Eric Hosmer will lead things off. Roki Kuroda has been, as advertised, exceptional. He has allowed 1 run on 1 hit. It came in the first after Dyson doubled. Escobar sacrificed. Gordon hit a sacrifice fly, but that has been it. He's retired 10 straight since the Gordon sacrifice fly.
You know, a lot's talked about their game over in Japan and how disciplined they are, and they're really taught self-control from early stages, even, you know, from their moms and their dads. And Kuroda, he likes to talk about his mom, Yasuko. She was a teacher and was a strict disciplinarian. And she said that as a boy, if he disobeyed, or he said if he disobeyed his mother, she would throw him out of the house at night naked.
I don't know if I'm for that.
Well, you know, he laughed and
there
said,
are things called neighbors.
Well, at least it was at nighttime. It wasn't in the day. But Haas will take that walk.
First walk by Kuroda on the afternoon. Time for our AT&T trivia question. Who is the youngest Royal to ever reach the 500 RBI plateau? We will give you the answer later in the game. There have been some really good ones in the past. Of course, everybody always points to George Brett. There have been players like Mike Sweeney and Carlos Beltran. George, remember when he came up from AAA, and Rex, he only hit like 280 in the minor leagues, but over 300 in the bigs. Here's Salvador Perez with a man on. Kuroda has done a great job of upsetting the Royals' offensive timing. On the hands of Salvador, and Nelson will make the catch for out number one. Royals really have struggled offensively of late. Certainly they face good teams, but if you want to be a good team, you've got to beat the good teams. But they only scored 1 run in last Sunday's loss to the Chicago White Sox. Then 3 on Tuesday in Baltimore. 3 again against Baltimore in a loss. 2 against the Yankees last night. And only 1 run on 1 hit today. Moustakas struck out on 3 pitches his first time up.
Got to get back to that frenzy hitting they had in the first month of April.
Well, it's almost like Billy Butler said, Rex. You know, he said, I'm in a slump. But I can't hang my head. I just got to grind my way through it. He kept on using that word, grind my way through it.
That's what it is. It's a day-to-day thing. It's all about timing, and they feed off of one another. So if somebody can get hot, maybe you can keep passing the baton.
It's like you always talk about when a team is going bad, you say nobody is sending you get well cards.
No sympathy cards.
Royals haven't had too many opportunities to be creative on the base pass because they haven't had many base runners. They were creative in that first after Dyson doubled and they sacrificed. Hosmer doesn't go, and Moustakas kind of loops it towards right, but Ichiro will run it down, and there are 2 outs. Well, our AT&T Hubers Rewind is a flashback to last Mother's Day when the Royals beat the Chicago White Sox 9-1, and Jeff Francoeur hit a home run with his mom in the stands.
Had the pink bat going.
Wouldn't that be well timed if he could do it right here?
They need a few hits like that to get back in it.
Foul back. He had a good rip. Pulls it too short. Nix has it. Quick toss. Barely. Oh, he's safe. It was a looping throw by Jason Nix, and Jeff Francoeur was hustling out of the box and just is able to beat it for an infield hit.
The ball wasn't hit hard. Hitters know that, so you're going to be digging. Never know about the throw. It looked like Nix throwing off balance, just got up underneath it, didn't get on top enough to get it there in time. See how he hit the front part of the base? Young base runners, look at that. It's the front part of the base. That gets you there quicker. Nice call over there at first base by Mike Winters.
Now Elliott Johnson grounded out his first time up. Strike one. He was 1 for 3 with a stolen base last night, giving him 5 hits in his last 6 games. Hitting .412 since the very end of April. He has 1 home run this year. It was from the left side of the plate. And now he's down in the count, 0-2.
Okay, this is where you want to fight in your at bat here. 2-strike approach, spread out so you have a little bit more balance in your stance. Doesn't take much to find a hole. You don't have to overswing with 2 strikes. That's what they call 2-strike approach. Shorten up your swing a little bit, put it in play. Anything close, you got to be hacking.
And that was close. We've seen him range his fastball, Rex, from like 86 to 92 miles an hour. His breaking ball, he's made variations of speeds within 5 miles an hour. Just upsetting Kansas City's timing. 2 on, tying run at the plate. One ball, 2 strikes. And Johnson just could not hold his concentration that long as Kuroda kept on staring back at Hosmer, who's dancing off the bag at second base.
The pitcher's in his windup. The umpire doesn't have to give the hitter timeout if he doesn't want to. So when you're a hitter and you're stepping out of the box calling time, that's not advisable. If he doesn't give it to you, he can strike you out without even being in the batter's box.
Good block by Stewart. Count moves to 2 balls and 2 strikes. This is the pitch he wants to make. He does not want Francoeur and Hosmer off to the races where Johnson could gap one and score both runners. So Chris wants to make sure he's on the same page, and in comes the shortstop Jason Nix as well. The count has gone 2 balls and 2 strikes to Elliott Johnson, who at one time was 0-2.
Same thing for Johnson. Same idea right here. Loose grip on the bat so you can react quicker. Keep the train rolling.
Rhoda keeping it away from him. Hiroki with 103 wins in Japan. He has some very strong seasons with the Los Angeles Dodgers and has actually gotten better when he came to the American League with the DH and won 16 games last year with the Yankees in his first season. He's 4-2 this year. Elliott pops it up left side. Vernon Wells calls off Jason Nix, and the Royals are down in the 5th inning. For our AT&T trivia question, who is the youngest Royal to ever reach the 500 RBI plateau?
Mike, I'll go with Mike Sweeney.
Is that before Billy Butler?
I don't know.
Billy's awfully young for 500. I'm going to go with Billy. I mean, if he's part of the equation, yeah, Billy Butler, 27 and 23. Because when Billy came up, he was 21, and I remember you and I were broadcasting with the Angels, and every time that guy stepped to the plate, we were going, man, this is the guy they got to worry about. And he was knocking in so many runs then. He beat George Brett by 1 day. Well, we had all the candidates in there, Butler, Brett, and Beltran. We also mentioned Mike Sweeney as well. We were having that discussion earlier.
Ichiro better find another place to hit the ball besides to Irvin, because Irvin's retired him both times up today.
Well, didn't hit one back to him, didn't hit one at all, and he strikes out. And for Irvin Santana, that is his 3rd K this afternoon.
Yep, you know, it's a changeup that faded away from him there. Irvin doesn't have the amount of strikeouts that he typically does because his slider's been inconsistent today, especially like it was in that 3rd inning where the Yankees jumped on him for a couple of home runs.
Now Jason Nix, who's flied to left, reached on an error by Mike Moustakas. Waves at the first offering, strike 1. Santana's next pitch will be his 90th. 62 have been strikes, 27 have missed. And once again, his command has been very good, but when he has made a mistake, it's been over the plate, and the Yanks have jumped on him for 3 runs in the 3rd on homers by Cano and Wells. Single tally in the 5th on a single by Vernon Wells.
Hey, Irvin, all of a sudden this inning here, he's getting that slider with that good downward break to it. And that's his difference maker. If he's consistent with that, he's the magic that we're used to seeing, especially here at the K, where he had just allowed 2 earned runs coming into this game in 23 innings.
Hit to right, Hosmer has it. Santana covers. 1, 2, 3 go the Yankees in the 6th. We'll be right back. game. He was able to nail it down yesterday. And Mo Farewell Tour, thanks for the memories indeed, number 42. And of course, the 6th inning is our Sonic Slam inning, and our contestant is John Edelman from Kansas City. If the Royals hit a home run in this inning, John will win $200, but if the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, John will win $25,000 from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals.
I hope John can hit the jackpot, but it sure would be nice if they could just get a few guys on. Get a few guys on, cause a little havoc, and then get a couple big hits and get right back in this game. Get this beautiful crowd into the game today here at the K.
I would love to see Dyson do what he did last time up. I mean, I know he doubled his first time up, but he stayed on top of that baseball, Hut, and he almost tapped it over the head of Kuroda. And he has such great speed. If the infielders move their feet like 4 or 5 steps, a lot of them don't have a chance to get this guy. But this is directly at Cano, and he'll throw out Dyson. Royals had a tribute for Mariano Rivera, and there's Dayton Moore on the left and George Brett. Rivera, the greatest closer of all time, and he was able to nail down yet another save last night in a 3-2 Yankee triumph. 622nd save in his incredible career.
Bo knows his history. He knew he was standing next to the best third baseman the game ever saw. And Mike Schmidt even said that when we were in Philadelphia about George. You know, they handed him a nice little check, Mariano, for his church that his wife pastors back home. And, you know, he's used to getting farewell gifts, you know, in different ballparks. And that was the Royals' gift to him, and that's the way he wanted it. Nice little donation to the church.
Rex, I'm looking down at my scorecard, and I think the Royals have only had one well-hit ball, and that was by Dyson, well placed down the right field line. Kuroda has completely baffled them with his pitching.
He's been good.
38 years young, out of Osaka, Japan. Gordon probably hit the best ball to right center field, and the result was a sacrifice fly. Dyson's was perfectly placed down the right field line, but we've seen a lot of weak ground outs, a lot of pop-ups. Out of play.
You got to find ways to make it happen. Sometimes you got to be creative. You know, you got to bunt, take a little bit off your swing, just try to get something going. Or, you know, when it comes to your 3-4 guys that are up here, you don't have to shorten up your swing much, but try to make it happen.
You'll see glimpses of it, and then all of a sudden it'll wander away for a couple of games. But this team not firing on all cylinders, and yet they're still 3 games over 500. And that's a well struck ball back up the middle, and Alex has his first hit. Comes with 2 out in the 6th inning.
Well, I tell you, it's easy to hit a ball up the middle sometimes, but between the pitcher's legs when they're only a foot apart, it's amazing. That ball got right between Kuroda's legs.
Time for our Sprint Unlimited answers. And we asked that question, how many RBIs will Billy Butler have in his career? I think it's going to be well over 1,000 because he just turned 27 and he has over 500 right now. 53% agreed. The Unlimited Answer Sweepstakes presented by Sprint. Vote in today's Unlimited Answers poll and enter for your chance to win 2 Crown Club tickets to a future Royals game courtesy of Sprint. This is by far the best outing by Hiroki Kuroda against Kansas City. He has never beaten the Royals. 0-2. Pitched twice last year against Kansas City. He lost at the K when he gave up 3 runs in 4 1/3 innings in a 5-1 loss last May 5th, and lost a couple of weeks later, May 21st, at Yankee Stadium, giving up 3 runs in 5 1/3. But he has really kept the Royals at bay, and he's only needed 70 pitches to get through almost 6 innings. Maybe he can throw a mistake to Billy, who he has down 0-2. Andy Pettit made a mistake up in the zone, and Billy rode it out last night. In the air, right side, Ichiro should have the play. Instead, it is Robinson Cano calling him off and making the catch, and that will end the Royals' 6th inning. To the 7th we go. It's New York 4, the Royals 1. In his fan seating section, $21 gets you a seat in the right field cheering section, a new limited edition Frenchie Quarter t-shirt, and Mardi Gras beads. Get your tickets now at Royals.com/Frenchie. Irvin Santana will face Chris Nelson, Chris Stewart, and Brett Gardner in the 7th inning. This likely will be Irvin's final inning. He's thrown 94 pitches. His command remains very, very good. He has issued just 1 walk over his last 4 starts, and that covers 26 innings. Ground ball third, Moustakas. 1 out. And Rex, when you consider some of the great control pitchers in Royals history, right now Santana's about 1.2 walks per 9 inning, the 4th lowest in the American League. But to start the season, he trailed only Paul Byrd, who had 8.5 strikeouts to walks back in 2002, and Dick Drago back in 1971 had only 2 walks and 16 strikeouts. That was an 8-to-1 ratio. So Santana right up there with his marvelous control this year, and now facing Chris Stewart.
Hey, you know, it's hard to do it by yourself. You got to have help.
James Shields was outstanding last night in 8 innings, allowing just 2 earned runs. But when you can't score, you can't win. Right now, the Royals offense spinning their wheels. Get downloads up to 50 megabits per second with Time Warner Cable Ultimate Internet. Santana's topped that at 94. Kuroda at 93. Kuroda changing speeds with his fastball a lot today, from 86, 87 all the way up to 93. On the hands, back our way. Rex leans out. It's about 20 feet beyond his reach, so he says, I'm not diving. There's no net down there.
You know, Fizz, I've had dreams at night of me falling out of the booth and landing.
I've had dreams of wanting you to fall out of the booth.
As well as some of the fans, probably.
Three and two. Did you ever land?
Yeah, I landed in the net at Fenway Park.
Did you?
Net caught me. I landed on my back. So it was like a trampoline, or like a trapeze artist, you know, that falls on the net.
Down the line, that's a base hit, the second for Chris Stewart this afternoon. And Alex Gordon will hold him to one base.
Alex is extremely stingy on anything down there. He takes a lot of pride in getting to that ball down the line and holding those runners to a single.
And it looks like we'll have a pitching change here as Santana's gone over 100, and Ned Yost wants the left-hander that he's had warming down in that bullpen, Tim Collins, to face Brett Gardner. So Irvin Santana, a job well done. He won't be able to get the victory, but he allowed 4 runs to the New York Yankees. And our Chevy call to the book. And watch every out-of-market game live online in HD. Features include choice of home and away broadcast, DVR functionality, and multi-game viewing options. Visit MLB.tv to order and join the millions of fans already watching games. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere.
See this gentleman right here?
Yes, sir.
He's the official Major League authenticator. And any ball, any scuff balls that are thrown out, the ball boy retrieves them and gives them to that gentleman. And that gentleman gets them, inspects the ball, and places a sticker on it of authenticity. And they'll probably do something with these specially pink-laced baseballs.
And not only is today Mother's Day, but it is also Breast Cancer Awareness Day around baseball, and virtually every player will be swinging pink bats, wearing pink wristbands, and managers have been working off a pink lineup card, as the color has been prevalent throughout this afternoon's game. A year ago, the Royals were 9-1 winners in Chicago on Mother's Day, but trailing 4-1 to the Yankees in this one. Tim Collins coming out of the bullpen, and he allowed 2 inherited runs and 3 of his own after entering a game on Tuesday at Baltimore. He entered it with a 3-3 game, took the loss.
And there's the baseball that was fouled off. They hand it to the gentleman. Okay, he just handed him the ball, and now he's looking at this baseball, and he's applying the sticker on it.
Now, will he have Yankees and Royals maybe sign it?
Someone else might. He's just the authenticator. He's just making sure that that was used in the game.
That's a great job. He puts stickers on baseballs.
Yeah, or anything else. Lineup cards, broken bats, any little things that people want to get authenticated.
Meantime, Collins has Gardner down in the count, 2 balls, 2 strikes. On his hands. Gardner today is fly to left, lined out, and his last time up he doubled down the left field line, and with 2 out, Vernon Wells knocked him in. All 4 of the New York runs have come with 2 out. In the 3rd inning with 2 out, Robinson Cano hit a 2-run home run. Vernon Wells followed with a solo shot. Now the ball gets away from Salvador. His throw to second base will get the advancing Chris Stewart. Nice play by Salvi.
Okay, Stewart's an aggressive guy. You know, he's not a Blazer, he's a catcher, but excellent jump on that. There's nothing you can do. Okay, if you see the ball gets away, you want to advance. You can't anticipate that Salvi's going to throw you out on a little spin, but he puts that ball to Escobar on the perfect side of the bag. And look at this quick tag by Escobar. Collins says, "All right, thank you. I'll get this guy. We'll get out of it."
He does. Tim Collins with a little help from Salvador and a strikeout. Hosmer, Perez, Moustakas coming your way.
League, Detroit and Cleveland battling right now in the 9th inning. Toronto all over the Red Sox at Fenway Park. Tampa Bay one better than San Diego late down at Tropicana Field. Other scores, Baltimore blanking the Twins, getting a couple of long balls from Davis and Adam Jones. Texas in a slugfest, at least they're providing all this play, and Chicago are going tonight. will get in to Los Angeles well before the Angels this evening. Our Mazda game break, that's Jose Bautista, and that's the second time that he went. First time was off of Ryan Dempster, who gave up 6 earned runs. This one off of Clayton Mortensen, and maybe finally John Gibbons' Blue Jays are starting to heat up.
Thank you very much, Joel. And here it's Yankees 4, Royals 1. Kuroda comes back out for the bottom half of the 7th inning. The Royals haven't done much against him. 1 run on 3 hits. Kansas City has also suffered 2 errors. So Kuroda trying to take advantage of that and win game number 5 for him this year and 62 in his career. Second all-time of Japanese pitchers and wins. We were talking about Hideo Nomo earlier, and he is number 1, 123. Eric Hosmer to lead things off. He's grounded out and walked, the only walk issued by Kuroda. KC is off for Anaheim next. Oakland and Houston. Been a rough homestand thus far. A brief 3-game trip. Hosmer goes after the first pitch, pops it up, and that has been what Kuroda has done so well. Getting the Royals off their timing, and they haven't hit the ball hard all afternoon. You can vote for the Royals Player of the Month, sponsored by Majestic and Rally House. Vote at Rally House stores and get a chance to go on the field and meet the winning player.
You know, 72 pitches thrown is not very much. And for Hosmer to come up there and swing at the first pitch doesn't help anything. You know, and it was a breaking ball. So you got to almost be 100% sure you're going to get your pitch, your first pitch, before you swing at it. They got to try to mount a rally and get this guy out of the game.
Another miss hit, but this one might drop, and it does in front of Gardner. So Perez has a blue base hit. That's the 4th hit of the afternoon.
One of the toughest things for an outfielder is to be able to judge the swing compared to the contact. Where did he hit it on the bat? And when the big guy usually takes a good hack, a lot of outfielders will take a step or 2 back. As Gardner is shaking his head, walking back to his position, saying, you know, I could have had that, but I took 2 steps back. Even though you don't necessarily want to get to the Yankee bullpen as great as they've been the last couple of nights, still take your chances.
You want to get to this guy, but before you get to that bullpen. And Moustakas struck out on 3 pitches in the second and then flied out to right, and he mistimed his swing on that one, kind of popping it up, and Ichiro had to come running in to make the catch.
There's a few guys starting to kind of loosen up a little bit.
As a hitter, Rex, what do you tell yourself against a guy like Kuroda, who's crafty? He's not overpowering.
Keep it simple. Let your eyes tell your hands where the mistake is. See the ball out over the plate. Keep it as simple as possible. Don't overthink on this guy. Start thinking what he's going to throw me in certain counts. 2-0. Right here's perfect time to look for something and drive it.
Are you looking for a certain zone, certain area?
Yeah.
Where?
Right out over the middle of the plate, Fizz. About belt high.
Moustakas gets that kind of pitch, but just does get it at the end of the bat and flies out to center field. 2 gone.
Those are hitters' counts. It's a little bit on the outer half. That's why it got off the end of the bat. Fine line, though. Plate's not very large, so try to get up on that plate, get total bat coverage. He hits the corners, you make outs.
Kuroda's best game this year came against Baltimore. Complete game shutout. Allowed only 5 hits. Francoeur takes a strike. Tomorrow night in Anaheim, it will be Luis Mendoza for Kansas City against Joe Blanton. Tuesday, Jeremy Guthrie goes against Jason Vargas. And Wednesday, it's Wade Davis. And the Angels have not told us yet who they'll pitch that game. And Jeff breaks his bat. A little chip came flaring off, so he'll need a new piece of lumber. Kuroda has tossed at least 7 innings without allowing a run in 8 of his 40 starts since joining the Yankees in 2012. He's tied with Clayton Kershaw for the second most starts in the majors over the last 2 seasons, behind Felix Hernandez's 9 such games. But the interesting thing is, Rex, he wasn't a superstar in Japan in his 11 years, and he was a good, not great pitcher for the Dodgers. But all of a sudden, at age 37 and 38, this is the best baseball he's ever pitched. 16 wins last year, 3.3 earned run average.
Because this game is not for, I mean, it's for the young athletes, but it's not, the success doesn't always happen when you're really young. Now, you see it, Mike Trout, you see it, Bryce Harper, you know, those are exceptions. The guys who excel in this game are in their mid to late 20s and into your 30s. I believe a hitter doesn't reach his prime till he's 30. If he's healthy and he stays in the game long, you have to figure out things. You got to figure out who you are. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses?
Francoeur will ground out. The Royals with just 4 hits and 1 run in 7 innings against Kuroda. Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local Dodge dealer today. It is a gorgeous afternoon in Kansas City. The weather has finally arrived that we love. It's baseball weather. The kids having fun out beyond the K. And here inside, it has been all New York. 4 runs, 8 hits for the visitors. 1, 4, and 2 for Kansas City. Tim Collins remains on the hill after taking over for Irvin Santana in that 7th inning. In the 8th, it'll be Cano, Wells, and Hafner. Lefty, righty, and then a lefty.
Wells going to have to find a way to get something going or they'll get swept by the Yankees. That would be the first time since September 7th and 9th of 07 that the Yankees have came in here to the K and swept them.
Well, Kansas City not playing well and New York playing very well. And they're a team that has gone to the playoffs 17 times the last 18 years, and they have those expectations, those demands, and that's what the Royals currently are trying to learn and break past.
Well, you know, when you have the youngest team versus the oldest team, the youngest and oldest, there's contrasting styles for managers. Managers, Joe Girardi, he's got veteran guys in there. Most of these guys already know how to play the game, and they're seasoned. They've been around a long time. Ned has his hands full. He's having to teach and coach as he goes along. and mentor. So there's some different managing styles that's required for young teams and older teams.
Aaron Crow warming up in the Royal bullpen. Cano is 1 for 3 this afternoon, but that was a huge hit, a 2-run home run as Tim Collins backs him off the plate.
Bend that hook. Good fastball down low. Got an excellent straight changeup, but right now in this count here, 3-1. Cano's going to be in hit mode. So you can't give him what he's looking for. That's going to be a fastball out over. Cano hitting .237 against lefties. 4 homers.
3-2. Ground ball, base hit. So Robinson has his second hit of the afternoon, and now the perfect Vernon Wells will be coming up, who has singled, homered, and singled. He has driven in a couple of runs, having a terrific series. His home run won the game yesterday in the 5th inning that erased a 1-run Kansas City lead. We knew May would be difficult, facing teams that won 90 games or more last year. There's a shot to left field, and Gordon is back, reaches up and makes the catch for the first out. Cano retreats to first base. I mean, they had Tampa Bay, who is a playoff team from the past, won more than 90 games last year. Then the Chicago White Sox, who won 88, and they were barely taken out by the Detroit Tigers last year. Then Baltimore, who made the playoffs, the Yankees, who made the playoffs, the Angels, who have always been very good, the Athletics, who won the West last year. So it will not be easy. They will finish that road trip against Houston, but then come home to face the Angels and the Cardinals. And then they will finish at St. Louis the month of May. So they're going to have to fight their way through this month. Strike.
Focus and paying attention to details is going to help that. These guys, they all work hard, and you don't try to work harder necessarily. You just heighten your focus. Eliminate maybe things that are off the field. Maybe family stuff. I mean, it's very hard. These guys are human beings. They have families like everyone else that goes to work. But you know, you really have to be able to leave that, have the ability to leave that at home when you get to the ballpark and focus on your job.
And take some of the positive that does exist, like the first inning when Dyson doubled. The sacrifice was executed, and Gordon got the sacrifice fly. There's a strike, and Hafner is gone, and Collins gets the K, his second strikeout of today.
Nice straight change.
So even though the Yankees won the East last year, you have to remind yourself they also lost 67 games. So that means in that clubhouse they were unhappy 67 times. got to be able to forget about that and move forward.
I was going to say unhappy until after you get out of the shower. You wash the losses, the 0 for 4 is down the drain. Put your clothes on and head out. Turn the page if you can. It's really hard. A lot of guys, it's easy to say that.
Joe Girardi was saying he has to manage people's health this year because he has so many players in the disabled list and a lot of older players. So how often do you play a guy before you give him a little bit of a break?
Right. So that's his focus. To worry about those guys. Ned has to work on the details with his players.
Ichiro is out, so are the Yankees. Bottom of the 8th we go. Johnson, Dice, and Escobar coming up. And we'd like to tell you this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Royals. Wearing their blue, they still believe. The team came in at 18-15, third in the American League Central, a game and a half back of Detroit and a half game back of sizzling Cleveland. The Royals, though, have lost 5 of their last 6. Yankees in first place by a game over Baltimore and Boston. They are 22-13.
Fans can't wait to get excited here. Somehow, some way. Nobody out. Johnson's up. The corners are in. Okay, they're taking this bunt away. So you see that, so you kind of look for a pitch either inside or outside, depending on what you want to do, and hit it by him.
And Johnson hits it pretty well to right field. Ichiro is back, and Johnson has it go off the top of the wall for a double.
Looked to me like he got it. Now, the wind's blowing pretty good. Maybe it knocked him down, but on contact, I rarely miss those. I mean, that's a real nice swing. Forget about the corners and hit it by them. Take the double the long way. Anything to get something going. Leadoff doubles are nice. They're going to have to work at it. Catches the ball right out in front of the plate. That ball's going to be directed towards the center of the field when you make contact there. You wait till the ball gets travel a little closer towards the catcher's glove, you hit the ball to left field.
The Royals have one of their better scoring opportunities of today, since Dyson doubled to lead off the first. Now they have a double to lead off the 8th. And the bullpen gets busy. Robertson was the pitcher on the right, who struck out the side and last night's 3-2 Yankee win. Dyson takes it low, and
all right, here's your options, Fizz. Pull him or slap him.
I'd love to see him stay on top of that baseball and slap it to left. A 2-1 count for Dyson. On Friday, he hit a 3-run home run. His first home run in 3 years. But he's thinking somehow get Johnson home from second base with a base hit. To center field. Caught by Gardner. Johnson tags at second, goes to third.
That ball was well struck. Dyson had a nice plan. Wasn't trying to look for something out over. He just hit it hard. Good swing, hit it hard, nothing you can do. But it was a productive out.
Now Alcides Escobar comes up, and Rex, he's been in the middle of a 3 for 28 slide. Would you think about bunting for a hit? Not any kind of squeeze, but bunting for a hit?
No.
Okay.
No, it's too big a hole up the middle. They're pinching him to right field as a second baseman. Cano, look at this. You could fly the Goodyear blimp through there.
Strike one.
Either they're playing him to pull or they're playing him to go the other way and just leaving that gaping hole up the middle. And when the corners are in, you don't want to. If you fail bunting, then you get the guy out at home.
He goes to short. The run will score. It's 4-2. So Kansas City has cut the New York lead in half, but an out recorded.
Hey, little by little. Running out of time, but scratch and claw all you can. Like I said, middle of the field brings the ribby.
Alex Gordon is 1 for 2 today with an RBI. He knocked in a run with a sacrifice fly back in the first, grounded out in the fourth, and singled up the middle in the sixth. If he can somehow get on, Billy Butler will come to the plate representing the tying run. Royals with 1 in the first, New York with 3 in the third, 1 in the fifth, KC with 1 here in the eighth. Kuroda's pitch efficiency has still been very good. 93 pitches in 7 2/3 innings. He has been averaging over 100 pitches a game. As a matter of fact, the only time he didn't throw 100 pitches was a rain-shortened game he had in Boston.
Kuroda wanted that one. Watch him. And I don't blame him. That's a good looking pitch there. Now watch him when he catches this ball. He's going to hold his glove up and say, really?
You green lighting, Alex?
Anything he wants.
Somehow he'd love to get on base, whether it's a walk or a hit for Billy. He's taken. It's a strike, 3-1.
Been so good lately. I mean, if he swings 3-0, it's okay with me. Good hit a homer. Still in the same situation right here.
In there, strike 2. It's 3-2 to Alex.
Those are some pretty good spots. 3-0 was one down the middle, but this one here, he's a little bit more careful there.
You're almost expecting him to stay away.
Got to challenge it.
He does stay away, and it's laced to left. Alex looked like he knew it was coming. And he bangs it into the corner for a 2-base hit. So Butler will come up representing the tying run.
And Girardi, he's coming out to get it.
For Dave Robertson.
Nice piece of hitting by Gordon. Locked in, waited for it. He saw 3 consecutive fastballs. You get a great hitter like that, 3 looks, he's going to do something to the ball. Turn it around.
Our Chevy call to the bullpen brings on Dave Robertson, who faced 3 last night and struck them all out. Kuroda and Las Diaz getting into it. Knocked out Hiroki Kuroda. He had a few words with Las Diaz as he left. Now the Royals will have Billy Butler coming to the plate with Alex Gordon at second base. So Billy represents the tying run. And here is Dave Robertson, their best 8th inning guy. You can see his ERA at 3. He has 19 strikeouts in 15 innings, but he has also allowed 2 home runs this year.
And we talked about it in the open of our show before this game started, the importance of Billy Butler. When he hits, the Royals win. I mean, homers.
Let's show you the numbers when Billy hits, how the Royals fare. Slugging percentage. 16 RBIs in the wins, hitting 146 with 1 home run in the losses. His 1 home run came in last night's loss, 3-2. He hits that one pretty well to right center field, but Gardner has a good read on it and pulls it down. The inning ends with the Royals trailing by a pair, 4-2. We head to the 9th inning here at the K.
Head to Los Angeles, but first, Boulevard Royals Live will wrap up this game. Hopefully the Royals come back, but as of right now, errors once again, and just a rough day against the Yankees to this point. But hopefully we'll have an on-field celebration to talk about, guys.
Indeed, because the Royals have had a lot of success on Sundays. 6-1 on Sundays this year. Greg Holland comes out of the bullpen. Hasn't seen much work recently. 3.75 earned run average, 19 strikeouts in only 12 innings. He is facing Jason Nix, Lyle Overbay, and Chris Nelson.
Well, the Royals coming today had the best record in day games, 10-4 in the AL.
Unfortunately, Kuroda was really good in day games, and he was 6-2 pitching in the day with a 2.15 earned run average in 10 daytime starts as a Yankee in his career from 2012 through this season thus far. Fouled back by Nix. Count moves to 1-2. Holland with 12 innings, 13 hits, 7 walks allowed, and 19 strikeouts. Opponents batting .277 against him. He did not fare well out of the gate last year, and then was really rock solid as a setup guy for Jonathan Broxton. And then when Broxton was traded, Holland took over in the closer's role and had a fine finish. Barely missing outside at 87. Yankees with 4 runs on 9 hits. The Royals with 2 on 6. But as Joel indicated, the 2 errors hurt them. One allowing a runner to advance to third. And strike 3 call. Holland gets it done.
Holland's got to get some work. It's not a save opportunity, but he's got to get in there and pitch. And he's getting ahead of guys and finishing them off. No argument by Nix.
Lyle Overbay struck out swinging in the second against Santana, fly to left and grounded to first. Out of play, and Mariano Rivera, we told you, has 622 career saves, the most in Major League history, and that is our Toyota League leader. Trevor Hoffman, the only other who's gone over 600. Robertson was able to get the final out of the 8th inning.
Fizz, you know, I told you I never faced closers in my time because I wasn't that good a hitter. I lied. I hit homers off 2 of those 4 guys you saw in the 9th inning.
And they were?
Franco to win it. And Trevor Hoffman.
I am so glad I allowed that conversation to continue so you could talk about your favorite subject.
Fizz, when I get tired of talking about myself, would you please start talking about me?
I will definitely ask you questions about yourself.
Thank you.
So I can fall asleep. Whenever I have insomnia, I ask you questions about yourself. And here is the 1-2 to Lyle Overbay. A ground ball to the right side. Johnson has it. Holland gets the first 2 outs. Strikeout, a ground out. Now he'll face Chris Nelson, the third baseman. Talked at the beginning of the game that the Royals need to take care of the little details, the fundamentals, so they can get out of this funk a little quicker. They head out on the road, we told you, to Anaheim, Oakland, and Houston. Nelson's average has fallen to 179. He's playing because Kevin Youkilis still not healthy enough to get out to third. Of course, Alex Rodriguez, their regular third baseman, is still a question mark on when he'll return. Everybody talks about after the All-Star break, but he's been slowed by that hip injury. And here's a swing and a miss. 2 balls and a strike to Chris Nelson, who hit 9 home runs with the Colorado Rockies last year. We have had 3 terrific crowds at Kauffman Stadium this weekend. Unfortunately, they haven't had that much to cheer about, as the Yankees won Friday 11-6, last night 3-2, and leading by a couple of runs 4-2.
They had a chance to get to Mariano last night and almost did. Moose hit a gapper to left center. Was run down.
It was really a terrific at bat by Mike.
Wasn't. It was ran down. Vernon Wells was able to glove it.
Mike said when he hit it, it looked like it was going to stay straight, tailed at the end, and Wells was able to get it in the left center gap. The 3-2 pitch by Greg Holland is on the way, and a foul off the right side. Mendoza and Blanton tomorrow night and at the Big A. Guthrie and Vargas on Tuesday, Wednesday, and a pitcher yet to be determined by Mike Scioscia. Foul back. Got him. 2 strikeouts for Greg Holland in the inning. Now he will watch the very best, Mariano Rivera, come out of that bullpen in search of career save number 623. Teased him on Friday with the no-mow zone where he fell and injured his knee last year, signed autographs for so many Royal fans, and then a reception on Saturday working with injured young people in the Kansas City area, signing autographs, answering questions. The Royals gave him a tribute today. Dayton Moore, George Brett right there at Mariano's side. And now he is pitching for the final regular season time in Kansas City. As Ken Singleton, the Yankee broadcaster, told us, Mariano is a man of his word. He told us he would retire, and he will. Even at the age of 43, you see his brilliant numbers. He has converted 14 saves in as many chances this season, marking the second longest streak to begin a season in his career. He is facing Eric Hosmer and delivers strike one.
Good. Send him a parting gift. The Royals with an L right here. Get some guys on and beat him.
Rivera has converted each of his last 28 save opportunities against the Royals since 1999. Last blowing a save against them on August 18th at Kauffman Stadium. Fouled off. 0-2 to Eric.
Cutters, cutters, cutters. That's it. You might add and subtract velocity off of that pitch, but that's what he does.
There are the numbers against Kansas City. It's his longest active streak against any team, and second longest streak versus a single team in his career, behind only a stretch of 33 consecutive converted saves against Tampa Bay. And against the Rays, it goes back all the way to 98 through 2005. Hosmer takes it inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Loves those hard cutters in on the hands of hitters. A lot of guys think they're strikes. They're not. They end up with a broken bat.
This is his 19th big league season, and Hosmer sends it up the middle. Nix can't find it, and the Royals with a chance. Tying run will come to the plate in Salvador Perez, who got a double off of Rivera last night.
Hosmer hit the same identical ball last night off of Mariano, except it was right to Nix. So Eric having some good ABs against the future Hall of Famer. This time a little bit to Nix's left. Getting something going here.
So Perez and Moustakas, who had the 2 best at-bats last night off Rivera, will go now and next. Ooh, this is trouble. A 6 and a 3 double play, and a rally is snuffed out immediately. In Salvador, you have to ask yourself the question, why do you go out to the first pitch, particularly when it was in such a Rivera-like location?
Oh well. Maybe Moose can start it going again. Last night he had a tremendous at bat off of Mo Rivera. And then this one, fans thought Mike was going to find the gap, but didn't quite have enough on it or enough sink on it.
Now Moustakas, who does take a strike. Moose 0 for 3. Blooped towards right. Ichiro is there, makes the catch. Game over. Yankees sweep the Royals. Kuroda gets the victory. Santana will take the loss, but the Royals offense remains very, very silent this week.
Just not enough runs.